and let us all do we can to build a better future.
There we
Hey.
go. Who's see? Oh, I should run for Senate because God damn, I could.
You could do it.
I could do it. I could talk for hours on end. Anyways,
And
but
we
that's a
just
story for another
need
day.
$5 million or $20 million.
No, you need $100 billion, man.
I could do it with less.
All right, there you go. All right, so with that being said, let's get started with this awesome interview. So first and foremost, everyone give it up for Matt Orfalea, who's joining us. Just like us, he is a fellow content creator, a journalist, someone who believes in free speech, free-thinking media, and the sad fact is this is something that we know all too well, especially after January 6th. YouTube has been censoring a lot of content creators. Matt Orfalea has been hit. We have been hit. Convo Couch, Mika Sukasa, Jordan Sheridan, Jimmy Dore, Lee Camp, everyone.
Everyone in independent media, for the most part, has been hit at some level, sometime.
But I do want to make this floor for Matt Orfalea, who, again, everyone who needs a quick reminder, he did fantastic work for the Bernie Sanders campaign until corporate media decided to censor him. And now, especially this entire week, Matt Orfalea's YouTube channel has been suppressed. Many of his videos have been demonetized or been deleted entirely off the YouTube platform. Thankfully, a lot of his content is still saved on the Odyssey platform, which I urge everyone to subscribe to. And on Sunday, Matt Orfalea was on RT America, again, speaking about his situation. And Matt, I think it's important that we start from the beginning for our viewers and subscribers. I'm pretty sure this entire week must have been a living nightmare. You're in a fight for your life, for your own channel, and for your own content. How did this all happen? And it got exponentially worse as each day passed.
Yeah, it's been nuts, and it's been nonstop for the past few weeks. It started when I made a video about YouTube censorship that YouTube censored. And what was weird about this is they deleted videos that weren't even public. So the video I finally published, the final cut, that's still up. Anybody can see that. It's called Crime of the Century. And it itself is about the YouTube censorship of US Senate hearing testimony back in January. And so what YouTube did is they gave me a strike for a private video, a rough cut that I had uploaded, an old rough cut that I had uploaded and that I had already deleted. So and they said this was spreading misinformation. A private and already deleted video isn't spreading any information, but I got a strike for that. And then soon after that, YouTube accused me of being involved with, quote, violent criminal organizations. And their reasoning for that was absolutely bogus as well. And it was a 7-year-old video that was a Starbucks commercial parody.
That's horrifying.
Now hold on. I'm not an expert on marketing or on videos, but Starbucks being associated with a violent criminal organization. Now, maybe in theory, we could all joke about Starbucks and all of its business practices, but the video is harmless. Did anyone from YouTube directly contact you about this? Because this doesn't make any sense whatsoever. They say that that 7-year-old video is associated with a violent criminal organization. What happened with that?
Yeah, they associated me with violent criminal organizations because of this 7-year-old parody, which doesn't include any violence at all, and it just makes fun of Starbucks as it features a Elliot Rodger who was a Santa Barbara shooter, and he was bragging in his car about his Starbucks vanilla latte. So I just show 13 seconds of him bragging that he's got this Starbucks vanilla latte. This killer is bragging about his Starbucks, and then I just cut to Starbucks, insanely overpriced beverages for psychopaths. So I'm not in any way promoting this guy or his actions. I'm making fun of him. And that's what you need. What these people, they want positive attention. They want, these killers, they want people to know what they did and think they're all tough. I didn't even talk about anything he did. I just made fun of that bitch for being the psychopath he is, this narcissistic psychopath he is. Whereas the mainstream media, they covered him, and they didn't get their videos deleted. They didn't get strikes. And it's important, it's going to come into play, the fact that this was 7 years old. Just remember that, guys, 7 years old. But again, so YouTube, they did, after Crystal Ball, Jimmy Dore, Kyle Kalinske, Glenn Greenwald, luckily I had a lot of, big names with big followings share this terrible predicament I was in, this story, and I got a response from YouTube on Twitter. They admitted it was an error. However, my entire channel remains demonetized. All my previously monetized videos have not been remonetized, even though days ago YouTube admitted to the error on Twitter.
So on that front, this is actually really similar to what happened with us when we got our strike, because we had got a warning before that we just didn't say anything about for the exact same video that we got a strike on. So very much like you, it didn't make any sense in context, out of context. We were again hit with denying that Joe Biden was the president, which of course we didn't say. We just said we didn't like him. And so we got a warning for a clipped version of a video, and then we got a strike for that live stream. And very much like you, of course, the only way you can actually reach out to YouTube is, of course, on Twitter. And so we had enough people reach out to support us, just like with you. And we got the exact same cookie cutter message saying, look, we're really sorry. But one thing I remember happened after that happened was our video viewership was still cut by 50% for the next couple months after that. So the fact that they've already done this to you and they've admitted fault, but their background systems are still treating it as if nothing has changed does not surprise me at all.
Yeah. My income has dropped 100%.
That's terrible.
Okay, so I want to say this right now. Like
this is still just the beginning of the story. Like it continues.
Continue, please. Go ahead. Continue on.
So then after this happened to me, a friend of mine, Allison Morrow, who is a video journalist, who formerly worked for an NBC affiliate, she interviews me about this experience with YouTube censorship, and her video gets deleted, and she gets a strike for it, and so she's banned after this. What did we talk about in the video, other than my censorship, was how YouTube is clearly enforcing their rules unfairly. And so we pointed out a few videos from NBC and CNN, which were promoting coronavirus misinformation according to YouTube's own community guidelines. And so we just pointed to that. We were not endorsing it. We were not promoting it. We were pointing to it and saying, if YouTube was being consistent, this deserves to be deleted. These channels deserve to be deleted. And what happened? Well, they didn't delete those CNN and NBC videos. They didn't punish those NBC and CNN channels. They deleted Allison's video and they banned her channel.
Wow.
And it goes on. Should I continue? Because it goes on.
No, please. No, go ahead. Continue on.
It goes on.
More people need to hear this.
So I made a video to show what the fuck happened to Allison and how wrong it is. And with that, we were able to make a big storm on Twitter again. And by the way, it's important, but YouTube rejected her appeal, okay? So we keep pushing with our Twitter storm, and mysteriously, the video comes back up, it gets reinstated, and Allison's strike is mysteriously removed, even though YouTube, remember, had rejected her appeal, and YouTube did not notify or apologize or explain anything to Allison or anyone else. It just mysteriously reappeared. And that shows us that they know they were wrong.
Yeah.
And so, okay, good success there. But then my video about how YouTube fucked over Allison and incorrectly labeled her video misinformation. Now my video is deleted, and that just happened last night.
Yeah, again, they have put everything into their automated little crawler to check everything, and it's not right, like 90% of the time. And because of the pandemic, they fired or laid off, I guess technically, all the people that used to sit down and actually watch content. I remember before the pandemic, when we wanted to review something, you could actually tell that there was a real person. They would leave notes and other stuff when you would want to appeal. And since they've laid off those people, they just don't exist. So we're smaller channels. YouTube doesn't care about us, so we don't get, even though we're manually appealing it, we're not. We're appealing it to the exact same algorithm a second time. And then finally, when we make a big enough fuss about the video, someone actually, it's a disgrace for a multi-billion-dollar company who has built a platform that people are both telling their news, their story, gossip, whatever it may be, but are also building either a full or part-time job off of. It just seems like maybe they should have a system that doesn't automatically wipe out a channel or pull monetization because a process that is wrong 90% of the time said it should.
Or at the very least, once they acknowledge the error, they should fix the changes that they made.
Yeah.
Now,
they haven't done that.
Now, you did mention that
Very-
there's a little
yeah.
bit more that happened to you and Allison as well with YouTube. Can you please elaborate just a little bit further with, I guess, this ongoing nightmare that, again, for anyone that's following all your favorite content creators, all of us right now are in the fight for our lives with YouTube, especially after January 6th, where, again, there's been this massive support of censorship by YouTube and the other platforms as well, and also with the support and blessing with our politicians saying that, oh no, we need to make more safe spaces. So continue on with your story with what happened with you, Matt, and with also Allison as well.
So just with the most recent events, I'll just give you more details about these videos that YouTube's taken down from Allison and my channel. So the video that they had originally removed from Allison's channel, I mentioned, yes, we were pointing out corporate news clips that had reported misinformation and that are still on YouTube.
Yeah.
And they violate YouTube's
Yeah.
current guidelines, and they're still on YouTube. Now people could go, and I'll give you some examples. So we have Lester Holt saying that you don't need masks. You have Sanjay Gupta at CNN comparing coronavirus to the flu. These violate YouTube's current community standards. Now you could say, oh, these are old videos, so we didn't know it was misinformation then. Okay. Well, but YouTube doesn't treat things with like that. Like YouTube just removed all my monetization and removed a 7-year-old video that didn't violate anything. Okay. So if they're going to do that to me, if they're going to be consistent at all, they should be removing something that's a couple years old or a year old that absolutely does violate their community guidelines. So there's zero consistency here. And luckily, Allison, we made enough of a storm that Allison's video was reinstated under the sketchiest of circumstances. YouTube didn't apologize, notify her, explain anything to anyone. It just mysteriously reappeared after the public backlash. And now my video, which cited her video, is deleted. Now, clearly, if her video is kosher now, and it is kosher, there's nothing wrong with it, and it's reinstated. Now, my video should be reinstated too, but the only way to get that reinstated is to get YouTube's opinion, and so everyone needs to fucking share the hell out of this story so that they respond. Otherwise, they will not respond. Remember, they had previously rejected her appeal. I filed an appeal. I haven't heard back yet.
Right.
So
Just
speaking of
happened last night.
how can our viewers help both of you? Where are you doing this on Twitter? Where can they go to help amplify your message?
Yes, because again, what's happening to you is happening to so many other content creators, and not just those in independent media, but other content creators who cover different types of genres. It's a nightmare right now for a lot of people.
Yeah. So Twitter seems to be the best place for this right now. YouTube's Twitter account at Team YouTube is somewhat responsive. Although the only response I got was when you had the big names, Glenn Greenwald, Crystal Ball, Jimmy Dore, Kyle Clancy, when they tweeted all this shit out. And I haven't had any response, since then, even though I've been continuing to face all these problems and deletions and this demonetization.
No, hold on. There's one thing I do want to, maybe you can help clarify to some of our viewers, because again, this has been brought up on our show, and I'm quoting you from this article from RT America about YouTube's algorithm and how basically it goes after quote unquote bad material or bad words. And we're not just talking about profanity or anything controversial that dares tiptoe on taboo subjects. I'm talking about even words about certain whistleblowers' names that are on that level, like a guy who's snowed in somewhere in Asia, or a friend who's named Jules A. Sanj, who's somewhere in the European hemisphere, But if you were to say their names fully on YouTube, that's going to trigger that blind attack dog. So can you elaborate about the algorithm?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the algorithm it's a mysterious thing. We don't know exactly how it works. What we do know is how it is working. And the way it is working is it is destroying independent media on the YouTube platform. What I find interesting is, do you guys remember the story a few years ago where Microsoft debuted this, super advanced AI, according to them, on Twitter? I believe it's called Tay Tay, and then it all of a sudden started, it became racist. Okay.
Yes, I remember
Yes,
this.
yes.
And, so this, as you would expect, made a lot of headlines, right? We have this AI that is harassing people online. It's become racist. It's making racist comments online. But now, okay, and so in that sense, it was mimicking Hitler. It even said that it agreed with Hitler. And so you had this Microsoft AI that was mimicking a fascist. And at the time, rightly so, everybody pointed it out and said, this is insane. What's happening now is you don't just have AI operating one little Twitter account. You have AI that is operating the second largest search engine in the fucking world, and it's operating like a fascist. And not just in the sense where it's like calling people, insulting people, calling them names like Tay Tay did. This is acting like a serious fucking fascist, and that is not allowing anybody to challenge the established narrative on so many issues. And where are the fucking headlines? The media's not covering it. This is we have a real fascist AI in charge of and operating the second largest search engine in the fucking world, and nobody's talking about it.
Well, I mean, in a sense, we know old school media really hates new school media like us, so they're, I'm sure, ecstatic that we're under attack. They've been given an exemption because they're, quote, authoritative sources. So, I mean, they're selfish. It's a selfish group of people, so I can only imagine they're just enjoying this AI until it turns on them.
It's also interesting to point out, too, it's not only just this algorithm that's going after content creators or deleting your hard work. And let's face it, that's your hard work. That's your life's work. That is something that you put time, effort, and energy in. And as a fellow content creator, I'm furious this happens to you because I hate it when people are censored. I hate it that people have been deplatformed. And whether you are libertarian, green, or socialist, or Democrat, or Republican, it doesn't matter. I believe in free speech. And on this platform, be it YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook, you have a right to share your opinion and not be silenced. And what's happening now is we're all being put in echo chambers. What's even also really screwed up is that even when someone does go live, like when we go live, occasionally in our live stream chat, and maybe the same thing happened to you, Matt, as well, is that when you go live, people might say, hey, I hit the ring bell notification, I like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'm not being notified when you do go live. And it's just like the whole thing is working against you, where once YouTube was a meritocracy, and now it doesn't care about anything that you do unless you're with the corporations.
Well, it's certainly, it is an unfair, unlevel playing field. And I've got a great example for you that I recognized recently during Julian Assange's birthday. You brought up Julian Assange. So I was searching for some, videos to share for his birthday, and I typed in Jim Acosta, Julian Assange, because there's a couple good videos, I think, of when I confronted Jim Acosta, CNN's chief White House correspondent at the time, and asked him straight up, what he thought of the Julian Assange case. And what popped up? The first search results didn't even have Jim Acosta in it. The top search result was CNN, but like I said, Jim Acosta wasn't even in it. And who was in it? James Clapper, the verified liar, the guy who lied under oath about NSA surveillance, saying that the NSA was not surveilling Americans. And that was a lie. Snowden proved it to be a lie. That is the authoritative source that YouTube is putting at the top of search results. That shouldn't even be at the top of that search result. Jim Acosta, if you're searching Jim Acosta, Jim Acosta isn't even in that fucking video.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to get, it's just, we have to, and so actually let's just jump onto this. You've been working on Odyssey right now. How has that been?
Yeah, tell our viewers just about some of the benefits of Odyssey, because we're on Odyssey and Rockfin, and look, in my opinion, I think that these two platforms might have what it takes to grow into something better than YouTube. What are your thoughts on these two alternative platforms?
I think that Odyssey, excuse me, it's getting hot in here. Odyssey is excellent. Is an excellent alternative to YouTube. I love the interface, but where it really shines is that it makes it so easy for somebody to sync up their YouTube channel with Odyssey. So, and I cannot stress enough how screwed I would be if my YouTube channel was not synced up, had not been synced up with Odyssey. Just imagine, YouTube calls you involved or associated in some way with violent criminal organizations because of a 7-year-old video. And imagine the situation when you cannot show that video to people to make your case. You cannot prove that YouTube is wrong in associating you with violent criminals over this video. And you couldn't do that because YouTube deleted it. But luckily, it was backed up on Odyssey, and so I could immediately show people what the fuck this was about and show people how wrong YouTube was. And that's happened multiple times in this scenario that I have, told.
Well, thankfully, there is a platform like Odyssey. So I think as a final note for the story, what more, again, you mentioned
How can we
earlier,
help?
Yeah,
How can our audience help?
How can we help you, and where can we go, and what are there any other further updates that YouTube has reached out to you? I mean, hold on. I already shot myself in the foot with that question. YouTube reaching out to people. They can never do that. But
it's funny. And then, meanwhile, Odyssey's like, hey, guys, just so you know, we added the new payment system. I hope you guys like it.
Yeah.
It's like they're listening.
Yeah, again, Odyssey.
So how can we help? Can our people go and join your Odyssey channel? If there was one thing our audience can do for you, what is it?
One thing any people can do is just share this story on Twitter. People need to know about this. We need to generate a storm. The only way YouTube responds to their errors, is when people create a storm. So please just share this out there. And we need regular people to be doing this, because unfortunately, many of the journalists and even big YouTubers I respect, they are afraid of touching these kind of stories because they don't want their channels to be removed. And it's understandable, as we've said, who wants their entire archive, their entire life's work to be in risk of being completely deleted from the internet? So we really need just all hands on deck, and hopefully that will send a signal to the bigger YouTubers that, once again, we have your back if you have our back, and please have our back once again. So just please help send the message out. And I'm sure sharing this video will help a lot too, because you guys give me a great opportunity to share this entire fucked up story.
This video will be clipped. I want to let our audience know that this video will be clipped, and also it will also be available on Odyssey as well. So please, everyone, be sure to share it, and I'll gladly send you the link to it as well, Matt.
And just in addition, do you have a current, when we had what happened to us, because we had a very similar thing happen to us, we put out a Twitter post, and then we told everyone to retweet that. Do you have a specific post like that, or would you rather just...
I've got one pinned.
Okay.
I've got one pinned.
And that's your Matt Orfalea Twitter account, if people don't know it yet.
Yeah,
right.
It's twitter.com/0RF, or you could just search Matt Orfalea.
All right, Matt Orfalea, thank you so much for joining us. Someone who's speaking truth to power, who's been a good friend of the show, who's been on our show numerous times. I stand against censorship, and Matt Orfalea is speaking truth to power. Matt, take good care of yourself, and we're going to be closing out the show. So take care of yourself, my friend.
Okay, thank you. And I noticed it froze there, so just in case.
Yeah.
Please spell it out
on Twitter, and help me out on Patreon if you can.
Froze out again.
As I said, YouTube has lowered my income by 100%.
Can you very just quickly, just for the
back?
audience, can you spell out your Twitter name just so people know exactly where to go to?
So just follow me on Twitter, Matt Orfalea, Orfalea, and please support me on Patreon.
Okay, I think we actually have it. We're pulling it in front of the screen for our audience. Can you zoom in just on his name so people can find it? Please, when this happened to us, it was all of you guys going on Twitter and sharing this message, and I'll say the same thing that what had happened to us. Be polite, but be direct to YouTube about how wrong everything that's happening is. Don't give them another reason to ignore the situation. Go retweet this post. Tell people why we need this unblocked. Help Matt out.
Stand against censorship.
So
Matt, take care of yourself, buddy.